I know it's not rocket science, but the single biggest game changer for me in my physical development was my own personal discovery of strength training with barbells when I was well into my mid 30s. Looking back, I just wish I could have started it early, back when I was maybe 15 or 16 years old. But, we just didn't have the facilities or the guidance for doing stuff like that. And importantly, no one was advocating for it. So we just did what kids do. We played football, we climbed trees. As I got a little older, started doing some body weight circuit training, and stuff like that. So I was very active, but when I joined the Air Force in '99, I found that I wasn't actually that fit. I'm certainly not a natural athlete. But what I really noticed was when it came to moving heavy loads around, over long distances, rough terrain for very long periods of time. My low back was constantly a mess, really debilitating pain, and I often found myself, reaching for pain relief to get me through what the hell we were doing. Eventually I adapted to it, but not until long after my training was complete and I was well into my career. Looking back at that time, I can recall that the people who did well at bearing that kind of load were much bigger than me. They had more body mass. And I'm not talking, fat. These guys were just big, stocky, muscly, strong dudes. And when I think about how I was built, I was in this really rubbish middle ground. I wasn't big, stocky, with packing lots of muscle, but neither was I particularly lean, like an endurance athlete. I was in this skinny, fat middle ground, which was pretty rubbish. When I discovered the effects of heavy barbell training for strength, one of the things that really came to me was how much effect it had on my torso. I found that the byproduct of doing heavy, progressively loaded squats and deadlifts on my midsection, absolutely insane. That process of breathing big, bracing hard, and transmitting force, through your body into the barbell, whilst keeping your spine in a natural position, drastically altered the musculature around my body. And if I brought that all together, it's like a process I like to call the thiccening. I'm 5'11", and I went from being about 12 and a half stone with a 32-inch waist to 14 or 14 and a half stone with a 34 to 36-inch waist that fluctuates over time. Now, I know straight away a bunch of people are going to jump on that and think, but I don't want my waist to grow. That's a marker for poor health. Context is key. This is me packing on muscle around my midsection. I was adding muscular mass to the erectors of my low back, my obliques, and my abs. All that core musculature was actually being developed in a way that sit-ups and running and circuit training just could not produce. Now, I do wonder that if I had trained for strength with barbells before I had joined up, so I had been stronger, I could produce more force, I had more muscular mass, more useful muscular mass, then I would have been able to bear those heavy loads easier. Yeah, I would have found the process less demanding, and I could have worried about other things and probably have performed way, way better. All down to that process of the thiccening.